Hi everyone. Today I bring to you a beast of a cleaner. This beauty here is the Electrolux Z355 or 355, say it as you will. It's gone, doesn't matter. This rust red and black colour, I thought rust was brown and orange, so I don't know where they got that from. This was the replacement for the 345, so the lovely brown. This came out in 1981 and I think it ran through to about 1984, end of 83, beginning of 84 maybe. Replaced by 358T, which looks exactly the same, but it's in like an almond colour. Slight difference at the back, but we'll get into that. This one is very early in the run, I think, and I don't know, I say this every time, whether the camera will pick up the rating sticker. It might do, or I don't know. Let's sort of hold it and hope. If you can't read that, I'll read it for you. It says serial number 113, so that's 13th week of 1981, so I think quite early. You'll notice it's got this little extra bit of security on the back. That was already there when I picked this up from a fellow collector. One of the screw mountings has broken on the motor cover. So this is just to give it a bit of security. But it's got a 770 watt motor and it says 910 watts with power tool. Now, that there at the end, can you see that little black space? That should be a power takeoff socket, but on inspection, I think it's blank. Can you see anything in there? Because I can't. I don't know what would plug in. Anyway, it looks pretty. So, as we say, this was the replacement for the 345, so it was the top of the range cylinder. It came with a very strange tool that I don't think came with anything else. This automatic floor tool, it's got three positions, one for carpets, automatic in the middle so the brushes float, a bit like 330 and 345. Put my teeth in. And then you can pull it to this side and that works with the brushes extended for hard floor. This is a bit ropey. It sort of works, but it's actually broken. You might not be able to pick it up on here. If I stick my finger in, you might see there's a crack. It's just for show really now. I did have a brand new one that I got from a lovely chap Walter, but I gifted it to my friend Dave because he's been so helpful to me, and I was really glad to pass it on to him because he needed one for his Turbomatic. So I will quickly show this when the cleaner's in use, but I've got two other, hang on, no, that way, two other nozzles that I will use with this. Rare, you know, not used all the time, but from time to time. It came with the good old crevice tool and butterfly tool. Oops, this is a posh one because it's got, sorry, the light's not great, is it? There we go, you might be able to see better. It's got like a rubber strip in the middle, like some kind of, I don't know, gripper or comb. I don't quite know what they would call it, but that is supposedly for picking up threads better. So that's nice to have. Because it was top of the line, it had the more fancy extension tube, which has seen better days. It's a bit wonky at the end. It's got the plastic cuff in it. So this came with 345 as well, and then with 350E and things like that. And the hose, oops, clang clang. We have here the posh hand grip. It's crush proof as well, with red accented suction control up and down, and the clip. Oh, sorry, I'm not doing this very well. Clip for the butterfly tool. So that, butterfingers, can live on here. There we go. See that? There we go. So that's all the kit that came with it. I don't have the instruction manual, so I'll be on the lookout for one of those. But with the cleaner, let's move this out of the way and we'll get you in a bit nearer. because it's the machine we care about, not the tools. So let's turn around. There we are. Can we see that? That's a bit better. There we go. So let's hold her up. You can see on the back, you've got your button for your bag door, which is there. So that whole face pops open. And we've got this traffic light system. So this is the bag full indicator. So if the bag is pretty empty, there's lots of space, the light shows as green when you switch on at the socket. If it starts to get full, in theory it should go amber, and then when it's full it'll go red. I've not been able to make it do that. I thought that possibly when the machine's running, if you block off the suction, it might start fluctuating. This doesn't, so I don't know if this is at fault or if actually it's not meant to do that. But who knows, if I carry on using it and try and fill a bag, potentially we might be able to see if it works or not. Mentioned this power takeoff socket. I think this is just a dummy on closer inspection, which is fine because I don't have a power tool. So no problem at all. While we're here, let's just pop the door open and we can see inside. So we've got a nice metal plate with the throat that goes into the bag. The bag here, can you see that? Yeah, you might be able to see sideways. See these arrows here? The bag forms part of the door closure. So if there's no bag, the door doesn't shut properly. So if I lift this out, can you see these arrows? This bit of card extends and there's a little hole here for where that goes in. So if I shut this, it'll sort of close, but it just opens without you having to do anything. And then inside, there is a filter at the bottom. I don't think it's genuine, but it's clean. It's like a plastic cage, but it seems to be part of the body. I couldn't get it out. I think it is actually part of the fixture, which, you know, it's fine. It got cleaned out. So fresh bag went in yesterday. The reason I'm showing you this out of order, as it were, because I have other machines to record. I serviced this weekend. Took me 2 days with a long break in between. Don't worry, I wasn't at it for 48 hours. Because from watching other videos and discussing it with people, these are horrible to work on. I was told they were horrible, and boy, was that bit of advice right. Then they look lovely, but we'll come to it as we work down the machine. Getting the motor out is not easy at all. So on the back, let's just do this quickly. We have a wheel that spins. There's like ball bearings in there, and it's got a little rubber tire on it, so that seems to work okay. There is provision for a hook. You might not be able to see that like that. Hang on, got to be careful picking this up because I'm not used to it. There is, can you see underneath the wheel, there's a little shape there. That's where the wall bracket would go, but that doesn't look very thick, so I wouldn't be very happy hanging this. I mean, I only hang a 302 anyway on a hook. I wouldn't bother with anything else. So yeah, you've got your ratings plate there. Flip it round. Oop. Can we still see? Yeah, we can. So we've got the nameplate on here. It's metal. I've polished it as best I can, but it has seen some work, this machine. It's got some battle scars. There's a lot of scuffs on this plastic, on the switch in particular, and on this kind of, I guess it would like some sort of protection. That's got a lot of scuffs. I'm not quite sure how to remove that. Under here, if I put my fingers in, I've got to get used to doing this, we have a blowing port. So you plug your hose in, like so, and you can blow. You can stick the end of the hose into the top here to clear any blockages, or you can dry your cat or your hair. Anything that's wet, you know, the choice is yours. So that's quite handy to have that. I don't know, do they even make vacuum cleaners with blowers anymore. I don't think so. In this grill, this is where there's a post-motor filter, and if I push it forward, there's the grill with the tag still on it, and you have this, which I have washed. It smells of washing powder. So that's what you can smell when the machine comes on. So that's not too bad, at least it's original. Then, I keep lifting it up. This long pedal, they've got pedals all the way across, if you notice. Power on, and this is for the retraction of the cord, of the flex. And your on-off button is here. You might be able to see on the camera there's a few scuffs and things on it. It's not too bad. It's in one piece, but it is quite scuffed. And then at the back, we've got the nice badge and the emblem. Now, pretty wheels as well. Here's the difficult bit. If I turn it sideways, can you look at the join here? Look how chewed it looks. It looks like stretch marks. I've got stretch marks, I think, probably at the top of my legs. But it's nothing to do with having my motor taken out. No, so the problem with this, you might hear something rattling around. Yeah, you can see that side as well. It's quite mangled. So the problem with these, when you take this bottom bit off, so the bit that holds the cord rewind, with any other model of cylinder from Electrolux that isn't this shape, you would then find a plastic motor cover, pretty much. I mean, I'm talking like the higher end models, so your 330, 305, 312, 345, that kind of thing. There would be a motor cover, and you'd have to unscrew that cover to then take it off. We don't have that with this. No, it just has to be awkward. This is actually held in by the machine, by the body, in a recess. And if you want to see this in action, please watch a far better video than this one. Steve, Vintage Appliance Emporium, he restores one of these and he shows you exactly what a nightmare it is. You have to peel back this body to get the motor cover out. Now, when I was doing it, this was day one, I peeled back one side and I managed to get the thing out without doing too much disruption. So I thought, perfect. Out came the motor, did all the usual, cleaning it up, lubricating both bearings, put it all back together, all spinning smoothly. Then it came to the fun of trying to put this back in. Well, this took me 2 hours. So getting the motor cover in is the first bit. You haven't got much slack with the wires, so bit of a nightmare. Once you kind of get it into place, it's very difficult to get the whole cover underneath all the ridges. Eventually that was done. However, to then put the bottom bit back on with the wheels and with the flex, you have to line up the pedal with springs. And on the swearing, I mean, I can't repeat what I said, but this 355, it nearly ended up in 355 pieces because it was so frustrating. I persevered and I got there, and I hope you think that when it's running that the end result isn't too bad. So what came after this, 358T in a beautiful almond. Now that had a slightly different situation going on here. There was no traffic light system, it was just a yellow light to warn you of the bag. I haven't got one. I have got one, but it's got loads of bits missing and I don't think it's salvageable. So I didn't have it on my list to find. I didn't have this on my list actually to collect, but now that I've done it, I'm going to keep it. So it's worked out all right in the end. Now I mentioned that this floor tool is broken, so I'll show it quickly when I turn the machine on. However, what I have got that I pinch from elsewhere is a turbo nozzle in brown. So this, I think, would have come with this machine's replacement, 358T. I think it also came with a flip over floor tool, the basic one, which seems a bit strange, but yeah, got this to use, so we'll give this a try. I've also got a later 80s floor tool that came with like the 2000 series, so like your 2020. I'll actually use that when I come to put this through its proper motions. But for this demo, I'll use this and I'll use its proper tool. This isn't so great because you haven't got much manoeuvrability. This doesn't go up and down, it's fixed in place, so you've got to really stoop over it. But we'll plug her in, we'll switch her on. In fact, let's pause you and we'll just hear the motor, just so you can hear that it sounds like an Electrolux should. Right, we've got it plugged in, cables into the socket. If you can see, hopefully if the light allows, the green is on. Can you see that? Just about. So turn her on and just so you can hear what it sounds like. Yeah, so the light doesn't fluctuate, stays on green. And then the wind down. There's like the tiniest little rumble at the end, but nothing compared to what it was like before. The armature, even though it sort of worked, it sounded like a horde of banshees. It really was quite in pain, and there wasn't too much suction. When I took the motor out, the armature, you couldn't really move it by hand. So that bit of oil just got it spinning easily. So it's as good as it can be. So let me get it set up and I'll just do a couple of minutes just pushing the floor tools around. The light's not very good on this carpet, so you can't really see the effect or lack of effect that the turbo tool will have. But at least you get to see it in action, and it's another one saved because there's not many of these around. And unfortunately, those that are, if they've been worked on, they have very mangled thighs, don't we all? But yeah, let's get it set up and we'll give it a bit of a run around. Okay, so we'll just do a quick couple of pushes with this. You might be able to see better that there's the crack there. So it's really just for show, this one, but we'll give it a go. If it snaps on camera, that's it. It's permanently relegated to the museum. All right, here we go. Yeah, so we're losing suction. Yeah, we could feel that we were losing suction from this split. However, it's supposed to be in the automatic mode, and I could feel some kind of movement, but this is a bit rusted, so I'm not quite sure whether it would be good anyway, even if I could swap that bit, but never mind that. Off you go to the retirement home, and in comes Mr. Turbo Tool. Let's see. Apart from being noisy, do you actually do anything? Oh, so not bad at all. It is really powerful. And this, like I say, the carpet here, you might have been able to see something on camera, but it's better in the flesh. But that silly tool has done something. I mean, it doesn't compare to an upright, but as I say, when I use this machine from time to time, I'll use a later 80s floor tool with it because they're much better. Oh look, crush proof hose, it's been crushed. Oh, it's all right, it's fine. All right, so you're done with. What we could do with doing, so I can show you how good it is let's move the camera. Oop. There we are. Can you see? Yes, you can. Let's unplug it and rewind the cord. I'll just stretch it out a bit. I mean, it will pull it in if it's a bit twisted, but it's super quick. I have to hold on to the plug so it doesn't smash into the thing. Oh God, and I let go, see what happened? That was nearly the end of the turbo nozzle. But yeah, that is super quick, so it's brilliant. I love it. I was a bit anti 355. I was a bit, yeah, they're a bit bulky. They look a bit like the Hoover Powerglide, too much to me, and that's my childhood nemesis. That replaced the 302 and I was distraught as a 6-year-old. But actually, on using it, it's not too bad. It could look better, but then it could look a hell of a lot worse. But I hope you agree that actually, for a, what's it now, nearly 45 years old machine, it's not doing too bad. And it's got plenty of carbon brushes left in its motor, so it could run for another 45 years, who knows. Anyway, back soon with lots of other cylinders and a couple of uprights.